Hey guys, what's going on? Pendulum Prophet here today, and today I wanted to just go over the newest iteration of Pendulum that I've been playing. And I took this to local stay. Sadly, I had to leave early, so I didn't really get to test it too well. But I did find a bunch of new combos that made the deck a lot better and won me like the last game out of the two I was able to play. And we got a field token, or center. Let's get into it. We'll start off with the Endymion cards and related to the deck. To Abductor. This card's good either searches you Souls or Servant, or if you need the other Pendulum Scale. Her Pendulum Scale of 3 is not really too big of a deal, so you could probably bump her up to 3 if you want. I probably will when I get my third Hollow in. Then I got one Reflection. This will be taken out for a Shanky Magician, but for now I really like it. I got two Jackal Kings. This is in here at 2 for another reason that we'll get on down the road, but it's also just cool to have it on board. If you can resolve Servant, this gets you your on board Nibiru Negate. And a quick thing about Nibiru, in one of the games I was playing, I won the round because he Nibiru'd me right after the Pen Summon, but I still had a way to get to Appaloosa with 3 negates and a Jackal King on board, so that was fun. And I'll show you that there was one card that I drew off it that made it possible, and I'll show you it later. But yeah. And then for the rest of the Mighty Master Monsters, or the Endymion Monsters, you got 2 Mighty Master. This card's great. Don't play it at less, don't play it at less, don't play it at more unless you're going for Peer. But yeah, really good. And then 3 Mastery, of course, to search all of these except for these. But yeah, Mastery is always just going to search you your Servant, preferably. Next, we'll go ahead and get into the Magician package. We're starting off with 2 Lewis Alliance and 2 Pen Call for the spells. Now, I used to play 2 and 3, but there were some hands where I was mad that I played these ratios, and I almost wanted to cut it down to 1 and 2. But if you see multiple of it, you're kind of sad because you can't play. Both of these are once per turn, obviously, so you kind of can't really. But it's a hard call. I've maybe cut Dual Alliance to 1 just for the ratios that you would be playing, because this can break you. If you're playing 3 Pen Call, the 2 is fine, but 2 and 2 is a little bit weird. Then we got 2 Harmonizing Magician. Just the best one. Summons a card for the deck. Gets you into a rank 4, which is pretty good in this meta. Or I'm sorry, Xyz 4 or Synchro 4 or Synchro 10, depending on if you're playing Baron or Savage for a negate. Baron's better, obviously, but that's besides the point. We got 1 Purple Poison and 1 White Wing. White Wing's a tuner, so she can stay in. Purple Poison has a good pendulum effect, but this card would be taken out for Oath Dragon if you wanted to go for the Synchro 10 route with Baron, because Harmonize will summon this out, and Oath Dragon's level 6, Harmonizing's 4, gets you 10. Then we got the 1 Celestial Magician to round off the Magicians. We got 3 high and 2 low scales in here, which is good. And they're all searchable, so I don't really have a problem getting into the scales I need that way. And we got the Time Gazer with the 3 Chronograph. If you draw all 3 of this card, you can still play, which is cool. But these cards are iffy. To continue with our extenders, we got 2 Souls, as well as 1 Jester. You don't play 3 Souls, because you're never going to resolve 2 Souls in 1 turn, and you're not going to resolve the 3rd Souls at all, no matter what. But Jester Conflict can resolve in the same turn, and it's a good extender. And because of this card, I was able to combo enough to win after the Nibiru. Then we get into just a couple more extenders we have, which is in the form of an old package I used to play a lot in Dark Magician. This is the Sky Striker stuff. Now, I reduced it down to 2 cards. I used to play, sorry about the glare. I used to play, Widowmaker and stuff, but it just bricks the deck, and there's no point to play it. I'm pretty sure we're at 41 to 42 cards at the moment. Probably 42, so I don't want to break it. But, basically, Engage, what's cool about this, if you draw Servant and her, Engage is a guaranteed 3 counters on spell, because it activates at Hornet's Drone. It's pretty often that you get to draw off this if you draw before you activate Engage, because you can. And it adds Hornet Drones, which gets you the token, and it gets you the Link 1 and all that shenanigans. So it's pretty easy to get into it. since Kikari adds this back and you can just activate it again. If you wanted to get the extra life points, you could go play into Kayana, but you're going to play Beyond the Pendulum anyway, so it doesn't really serve a purpose that way. Spellbooks, for now, it's just 2 Blue Boy. I usually like playing this at 1, and then 2 Secrets, and 2 Knowledge. I don't, the Spellbook engine's like, sorry, get that glare real quick. Spellbook engine's like interesting, but the main reason why I'm playing 2 Blue Boy we'll go ahead and talk about later, just like with the 2 Jackal King. Then we got 2 Allure, Darkness. This card's really good. Obviously, draw 2, banish 1 Dark, and the 1 Upstart. These are just 3 extra draw cards along with these to get you potential. The one thing that I would change in this deck is throwing some more draw cards, and I'll probably do that by taking out like a Reflection and a Chronograph for 2 2/2 or something along the lines. Then we're going to go ahead and get into our last mini engine that we play, which is the Small World, which consists of the 2 Small World cards. And Small World, obviously, let's just go with an example. You're going to have Abductor in your hand. So Abductor is a Spellcaster Pendulum Earth effect. So, like, the effect part doesn't really matter because it's not a type, apparently, because you couldn't really add anything if that was the case. But besides the point, Abductor, you have, there's so many cards in the deck, you don't have a like restriction on using hand traps to get through Small World. And then we'll say we have this, but then we're also going to play for like cards to add, which would be Lava Golem. You can add Lava Golem in your opening board. So I still play it at 1 for the reason that it's searchable. And if you're going second, you have a searchable out, even on the first. And Abyss Curtain Actor, because it's a good link between the 2. And the reason why is because Abductor will go ahead and get you into this since Pendulum's here, but it's none of the same attribute. But since this is a Fiend, you can actually go ahead and add the Lava Golem off of it. Or if you want, you can go Curtain Raiser effect, revealing Blue Boy, and then go and add Servant to your hand. So there's a lot you can do with Small World, and it's very open to how you would play in this Yu-Gi-Oh game. So I feel like Small World is actually a really good tech that I found from some guy online that just posted in a random deck build. Now we'll go ahead and get into the extra deck, Cool Field Center. Extra deck, we're going to start off with our Link 1s, which oddly enough we run 3. 1 Artemis comes more in handy when you have access code. I don't have access code, so we're playing Borderlow Sword. If not, if you have Engage in hand after you draw it and you have a monster on board, sometimes you can just link it off. The 1 Kagari. Kagari adds it back, makes it 3 counters, and this puts 2 monsters on board, as well as the 1 Link Spider. This is just because the token is not a normal monster, so there's times when you go into Appaloosa before you Pendulum Summon, because you just have the hand 2 after you use the Sky Striker cards, and then Link Spider will get rid of it, because you can't use tokens for Appaloosa Summon, so that's why the Link Spider's there. Then for the Link 2s, the most important ones is Beyond the Pendulum. Adds any 1 Pendulum monster going second will destroy 2 cards on the field. If 2 monsters with different levels are summoned to a zone it points to. It does target though. And pay 12, add any Pendulum monster on Link Summon. It just does lock you out of monster effects until your opponent's turn, or until you Pendulum Summon. Keep in mind that this card will negate the Pendulum Scale, so if you have spell counters, they'll just be negated. Then we got 1 Crowley, adds 1 of 3 that you reveal blue spellbooks. Really sucks when you get Knowledge or Blue Boy and you already normal summons. The best is to hit Secrets or Blue Boy, if Secrets is really the best, but sometimes you just whiff it and you gotta deal with it. Then another one that didn't really come up too much today, but I'm going to do a lot of testing, is the Daybreaker. I need to put in a little bit more Link 2s in the deck, just so I don't feel like I waste stuff. But yeah. Then I got 1 Dark. Dark's really good too. It gets you into your lineup, like usual. And can now summon the Bastiles, which are pretty big beaters within themselves, or some of the tier fusions. And then we got 2 copies of Selene. I did just pick these up today. Sadly, I had to buy one. The other one I had to trade for, and it kind of sucks. I traded a friend here and for this an entry to the store, and it's getting reprinted, so it's kind of like awesome. But yeah, that's beside the point. Celine's really good. Puts counters on field, so if you have Mighty Master and Scale, you can go and pen summon afterwards and get you your rank 4 or your link 4 plays into his Appaloosa Bow the Goddess and Borreled Sword or Axis Code. Don't have Axis Code. Now we'll go into the other link card, or the non-link cards. This is going to be Wolo, founder of the Druid Dragons. So you can actually make this with, like, Chronograph and your copy of Jackal. Since they're both level 6, this will just detach 1 or 2, target a card in your opponent's graveyard, and it will either shuffle into the deck or special summon to your field in defense, or face up or face down defense, or set it to your field, depending on what you target. This will be switched out for, if you can, your Borreled Sword Savage or your Baron de Flor, depending on which one you have. I don't have either, so that's where we're at now. It's good. It comes up. Then we got the one Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller is really good. You'll probably play Baguska here too, because sometimes a Abyss Dweller doesn't do anything, but Baguska would. But with Ashishu Tier being in here the whole time, Abyss Dweller is kind of important even on your own turn, since you can make this before you get a Dark Monster in your graveyard. So if they don't have the opportunity to do it, you can protect yourself on your turn as well as their turn, so they don't get set up on your turn or their turn. And then you still do play the Absolute and the Vortex. It's a little bit harder to get into it, but if you can, it's still really good. I do need to throw in a Cross Sheep in here, I think, and that might help balance things out a bit. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the deck profile. I don't have any extra deck currently, or side deck, sorry, built for this deck, just because, well, I don't really have the cards for it. I kind of got to try and sell my Sprite deck to put it up. But for now, we want to switch back to Pendulums, because Pendulums are obviously best, and screw Sprite. So, we're back home, babies. Anyways, see you guys later.